Right, could I invite I'm looking for a name. David Hoboon to come forward from the Ministry of Education, who's just got my understanding is that you want to provide some assurance around the geotech and due diligence issues for our consideration of the report. Yep, thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is David Hoban. I am the Program Manager for Capital Works in the Ministry of Education in the South Island, with my colleagues here, Deb Taylor, Project Manager, and Susan Schneiderman, Education Manager. Just a little bit of background very quickly. November 2016, the Minister of Education announced that Redcliffe School is to be relocated to an alternative site on Redcliffe's Park. During that time, there was a substantial amount of submissions and reports made and submitted to the Ministry, and all these reports have been available on the Ministry websites since that announcement. More recently, in April this year, the Ministry wrote to the Council formally requesting that it transfers under Section 50 of the Public Works Act the land at Redcliffe's Park for education purposes. It also requested that the Council agrees to be appointed to control and manage the land at Redcliffe School as Recreation Reserve under Section 28 of the Reserves Act for a new park. To assist in this engagement process, the Ministry will make available copies of the following reports. We'll be providing, and these will be available for public access: the geotech report, the rockfall analysis report, the contamination report, the coastal hazard assessment report, the integrated transportation assessment, and a general location for the new primary school. All these reports are on Redcliffe's Park. The Ministry will also be able to provide a location plan for the new proposed primary school on the park, and this is proposed to be on the elevated section on the main road part of the park. So if you all know the park, it's kind of layered, it's on the elevated section. And it is also very important to note that we have got a transportation report, but we will be doing a far more detailed transportation report once the council decision is known on the park. We also have to go through a process for the designation, and if the council decides to sell the land, the Ministry intends to use Section 71 of the Greater Christchurch Regeneration Act for the Minister supporting Greater Christchurch to exercise her power to amend the district plan for planning permission to designate Redcliffe's Park for education purposes and change the underlying zone on the former school site to an open space park. We are required to seek public engagement and written comments from the public on that designation process. Our approximate timeline is June to August to have the proposal drafted, September to October proposal is finalised, and October, November to go to the community, and then December to February the Minister makes the decision to amend the district plan. We have also been targeting, and we believe we're still on track, everything going well, to have the school operational on Redcliffe's Park by the beginning of Term 3 2019. We, as part of the documentation we can provide the location plan for the new school. We can't provide any detailed plan of the school because we haven't done it yet. We've got to work with the school, so we have got no more detail, just the location. Just like to thank you for that and open to questions.
Right, questions, Yanni.
Thank you. In terms of the community being able to make informed submissions around the disposal of the reserve and Redcliffe's Park, I was just trying to understand at what level you can provide details around what the impacts will be on things like the loss of trees, possible landscaping and intersection upgrades, enhancements, improvements.
Okay, because we haven't done the detailed design of the school, it's very hard to know what the impact, particularly for trees, will be at the moment. We will be proposing that all the facilities on the park, current buildings on the park, will be demolished. The traffic with the intersections, we've got a high-level traffic report, but once we do the more detailed one, then we'll know exactly what may have to be done at the intersections, and we'll know exactly where potentially drop-off and car parking might be on the park as well. So to answer the question, we don't have that information as yet, the detailed information.
So how can, the question I'm really trying to understand is, how can the community make submissions around the disposal of this reserve if they don't know what the local impacts are going to be in terms of what's going to go there?
So, you mentioned trees, and like I said, I can't tell you which trees. We can show where we're proposing to put the buildings. We know what facilities will be provided with the buildings. We will have a plan where we think there may be car parking and maybe drop off. I'm not sure what else we can provide for that.
I'm just trying to avoid the QE2 situation where we went through a hearing, came up with an agreed response, and then had a further request for further changes that, around the trees. And if you think about this particular site, I mean, obviously the traffic is a major issue, and not understanding what the mitigation is around that is quite, I find it quite hard. Like, who's paying for, if traffic lights are going in, for example, we haven't had any discussion at a local board around what those things may be, and it may get to a point where council says, well, we're not going to pay $2 million for a new intersection. I mean, I don't know if that would be the case, but I'm just trying to understand if there's a way in which that more detailed information can be put to the community as part of this process, so that they can see the entire proposal and not sort of have, 3 separate proposals going on.
The traffic one, there is the traffic report, the high-level traffic report, and it does comment on the intersections. It doesn't say at the moment that there's going to be any need for significant upgrades, but we can do some more work on that, and we will be doing more work on that. We think we've provided a significant amount of information for your public consultation now.
So it doesn't seem to have the same number of trees as the QE2 site, so I think that council staff would certainly, I think the arborists would be more than happy to work with you to identify the trees on the site and to work through what their status is. I think the public do like to know about trees. It's not an unreasonable thing to be included, but it really, as a site, I'm just looking at it online, it doesn't look as there were significant trees attached to the QE2 park site, as you know.
As far as we know, there are no memorial or significant trees on the park, and the flatter areas of the Redcliffs Park has very few
that's what I'm
trees,
looking at.
Because it has been used as a soccer.
Yeah, that's
soccer.
right. A question? Yep.
Just
Phil?
like in your report, there's reference to risks and hazards, and basically what it's saying is there's no more risk on this Redwood Park, the park site, than Redcliffs, than other areas. I presume that means other areas in the location around Redcliffs.
Yes.
So, will you also make sure you take into account, for example, on tsunami, the NIWA are preparing a report very soon, and also there's the coastal hazards report be signed off, the review of it by the end of this month.
Yep.
We take those into account.
And we have included a coastal hazards report in the documents, which we'll release as well.
Okay, thank you. Very
good. All right. Well, look, thank you very much. That's much appreciated. Appreciate you making the time. So, councillors, do you want to come back to this? We'll come back here at, say, at 1:45 to start this again, and rather than wait till 2 o'clock. Is that all right? We'll take half an hour for lunch. All right, if we can. All right, so I'll adjourn till 1:45. Thanks very much. You're going to have to do most of this meeting.
I know you'll be here, but it's really